morning, everyone. My name is Hussein, and today I'll be visiting athletes. These students are from all around the world, and they're here today to share with you their childhood stories. They're also here to share with you what they experienced when they first came to America, like the first time seeing snow, learning a new language, and adapting to a new country. And also sad memories of leaving their loved ones behind. Here today we have me from Vietnam, Sarah from Iraq, Nessie from Djibouti, Manu from Sudan, Deborah from Mongolia, Sharma from the Republic of Congo, Mubarak from Iraq, Malak from Iraq, and Kali from Burundi. Thank you. Thank you, and please be kind and listen to these brave students. We'll also have you at the end. Now, I'm hand over to you.
Hear me, right? My name is Moon, and I'm from Vietnam. I am a child of two Vietnamese immigrant parents who did everything to give me the American dream. Without them, I may not have opportunity to attend to school, to meet my new friend, new teacher, and have opportunity to create my own dream. My experience as an immigrant child grew up in U.S. helped me gain success and to let me know more about how people treat each other. Later on, my parents moved here. It's been a very tough life for them. I almost wish they never came here. Why? Because the language, the way they used to live was different than here. Then they have a job that they really hate. I have to watch them hate themselves because of all the factors. Like other parents, they always try to hide themselves from me because they are afraid that I may stop thinking about my dream. Sometimes I wish that there was some way that I can go back to home to make them happy, but there's not much I can do. I love them, but I cannot handle seeing them so sad. As a daughter, I cannot do anything to make them happy. I never talk to them. I never really say that I love them. But they did everything for me. To make me happy, they're working. Just because they want to make money for me. Be able to feed me. Buy stuff for me. But then I realize, what have I done for them? Nothing, not at all. That's it.
I am from Baghdad, Iraq. I was born in Iraq but moved to Syria when I was 2, hoping to escape the war there. I am a twin and I have a brother and a baby sister. I can call myself the middle eldest child because I have my twin sister who's 5 minutes older than me. Life in Syria. When we moved to Syria, me and my family, we all had our rough times. We had nothing because we left our houses, stores, and family behind, and only bought a small amount of money to support us there. And my dad did everything for us and worked very hard to provide whatever we needed, and so did my mom. She had to take care of my autistic brother and a full house. When years passed by, me and my sister grew up in Syria. So we got our education and life there. There wasn't a lot to remember in Iraq since we left at a young age. But soon after, we found out that there is a UN service, which is the United Nations service, that can get us visas to any country we would like to immigrate to. So my mom and my dad applied, and we were hoping to get like a better education, and for my sick brother to have a better medical life. So my mom and my dad applied. After we applied, my parents were waiting and waiting for a long time. It took us 6 years. The war in Syria had begun already, and everything changed. I remember my parents going every week to the United Nations headquarters and begging them. And my mom would cry at the door, just telling them to speed up the process. The war was getting much worse. Our glass windows in our house would get broken from the loud bomb sounds, and thousands of people were getting killed every month. Finally, we got a call saying our visas were ready and we were able to leave the country. We came to America, we started a new life. My brother got his medical treatments and everything. Our education got better. My parents learned a lot, and I really care about my parents and my family, and everything that they did for me till this day I would never forget. And if like whenever I get older or they get older or weaker, I will always take care of them because I would always respect them. My dad, I remember, he used to always cover us with blankets when the bomb sounds and everything, and the gunshots and people getting killed in the streets. We were just like under blankets hiding. We remember we having no food, having no gas for our car so we could escape to another city in Syria. So we just like stayed there. We were, I remember, 8 years old. We had no food, so we had like a heater, and all we had was bread. So we would heat the bread, and then we would just eat it, hoping that next day we could go to the streets and like have more breads or just more food to survive. So yeah.
My name is Jesse, and I'm going to high school. So about a couple years ago, my parents decided that I would come to the U.S. with my mother and my 2 younger brothers, Momin and Abdi Gabor. They wanted us to get a good education, and my father and my other siblings, Mahat, Shumakhe, Asi stayed in Djibouti. So the last time my father called, I was tired because I just came from school, took a quick shower, while he was on the phone with my mother. When I came out, the phone was at the dinner table. I picked up the phone, and my dad started to laugh. And I was wondering what he was laughing about. And he said, "Your voice is changing, son." And I asked him how. He said, "Your voice is deep." Yeah. His word made me feel some confidence. It made me feel more grown up. And it shocked me a bit. Then he told me how he was a role model for his little brother and how he used to teach his little brother how to behave. He told me that I represent the family, that I am the man of the family. To be honest, at that time, I wasn't behaving because I didn't see the right path. I was distracted by my friend. "You're the role model of the family," he said. In the next room, I could hear my younger brother's voices, smell the food that my mother was cooking. We talked for hours, even though I was still hungry. I loved that I was talking with him, and I'm glad that I talked to him. I learned a lot of things from him, and I really love him. Since on the top of the phone, I started to behave. Learn what is essential for me is to take care of my family. A year later, my life has completely changed. I learned how to behave. I started to become more mature and responsible. It's not really easy to be the oldest brother in the family. I've learned how to be kinder to people because you don't really know what others have been going through in life. My life as an American has helped me to become a better version of me. I love me. Even though I still miss my family, they're still engraved in my memory. I know what is essential for me is to take care of my family. It is hard being apart from the rest of my family, but I heard once, one small crack doesn't mean that you are broken. It means that you were put into the test and you did fall apart.
My name is Mary Olivia. My nationality is Sudanese, but I'm not an American citizen. I am born in Canada. I'm 17 years old. I'm a junior at Southport High School. I come from a tribe called Acholi, but I won't go on to a lot of details. I grew up in a household that spoke Arabic. I lived with my mother who had me when she was very young. She did a lot of stuff for me. She still attended school for me. She got me and gave me courage and confidence to go on to want to complete my graduation, get a degree, go to college. Being born in a world that's developed already gave me many opportunities and chances to develop, to learn, to adapt to the language. I'm very thankful that I was born in Canada, and I'm thankful that I've come to America and able to still continue to study and to be able to know that I can graduate with the credits I have. I'm thankful to my teachers who motivate me to work harder and influence me to, yes, you can graduate, yes, you can go on to a higher level of education. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm thankful for
is Shama. I'm 16. I'm junior at South Portland High. I was born in Congo in 2001, and the main reason why I came to America is because the school here is not expensive as was in Congo, and my mom and my dad did everything so I can have a free education, and I'm very thankful for them. I'm very thankful for everybody here, and learning a new language wasn't easy for me because I couldn't speak, but now I think I'm pretty good, and so thank you everyone to be here. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Deborah. I moved here in 2012. I'm from Angola, and I moved here with my three sisters and my mom first. At first, when we came here, I didn't know how to speak English, and we came here straight to me. I didn't know nobody. I didn't have a family and anything. I didn't have a place to live. So I remember the day that we came, and it was snowing, and it was really cold outside, and we didn't know anything about the snow and everything like that. So like we had like to wait in the bus station. Like I remember we landed around 8, and we had to wait in the bus station for about like 8 hours because we didn't have a place to go and we didn't know anything. And I just remember like my mom crying because she didn't know what to do. So we were just there in the bus station until we saw a man who was walking in the street, and she spoke the same language as us, and she probably like helped us go to. The young man brought us to his house, and we stayed there like for 2 days. Then we went to shelter, the shelter family in Poland. We stayed there like for 3 months. They helped us find the house and everything. Then we started to go to school. At first it was very hard for me because I didn't know how to speak English and everything, but I was just going to school and wait and just see everyone understand learn how to speak English, and I'm just very thankful to be here in America because I know a lot of people back in my country who are crying, they don't have a better life and they don't know what to do. But I'm here today. I'm having a better life and a better education. I just like, I'm very appreciative everything and everyone who had helped me achieve this goal, learn English and everything. I'm very thankful, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tamar. I'm from Iraq. I came here 2012, and in 2012 I came with my dad, mom, and my 2 sisters. Unfortunately, my dad didn't like living here because he missed his family a lot and he just couldn't handle it. You know, it was really hard for him, so he went back, and then me and my mom couldn't go back because we came here for our education, and she wasn't willing to, after like she went through a lot, she wasn't willing to go back, so my dad went back and he just couldn't like handle it. And then me and my mom, well, first we lived in Georgia, and then we came here because we knew people here, so we came here, and then, you know, it was better, but we really went through a lot to come here. And, you know, all I can do for my mom, she stayed with us, you know, and all I can do for her is be a doctor just like she wants. Like, I mean, basically that's all I can do for her. But, sorry, I'm really sensitive. But it was really, you know, it was really hard.
Okay.
Anyway, so after like a just to apply for citizenship. So, that we waited another year to get our citizenship. It took a long time. My mom was really nervous because they told her to study for a really big test that asks you basically, about the United States, the president, all that, Senate, and my mom, her English wasn't that good. So she studied really hard to get her citizenship. And she couldn't go back to Iraq to visit her family because she didn't have a passport, and she wouldn't be able, she wouldn't be protected by U.S. law. So she would be protected by the Iraqi law. So she couldn't go back, because they would not let her come back here. So that was really hard. And my grandma was really sick. He was really, really sick, so she really had to go see him. So when she got her citizenship finally, and we got it a few months ago, so, she went and visited him, and that was, relieving. Yeah, but it's not really easy, living here and not knowing anyone, and then getting adopted to a new language. And then if you get your citizenship, there's something called dual citizenship, which you would have a citizenship of 2 countries. Some countries don't allow that here. You have to give up one of your, citizenship. So that was, really hard. I mean, we didn't have to do that, thankfully. But, I'm actually not sure, but I don't think so. It's like giving up I know a lot of people went through that, giving up their country citizenship, even though they got out of it because it was, really hard living there. But, it's your country, so, yeah.
She's my sister, so I'm not really gonna say something different than her, but we did really go a lot. I'm actually Malak, and I'm 15 years old and in 9th grade. We did really go a lot difficult stuff. What happened is when we went to Georgia, we found a family in the airport, and they were really nice family, and they were going to Maine, and we were going to Georgia. And we stayed 10 months in Georgia, so we took their number, and they said if you need anything or any help, just tell us or call us. And then my mom and my dad, when my mom and my dad got divorced, my mom went to Maine, and then we called them, and then they moved from their house, and then we went there to their house because they moved, so we took their house, and it was like that. So how my mom is married right now, another guy. How it happened, we had that huge table they left there, and then her brother, the family that we found there, her brother came there and fixed the table and took it out in trash, and then my mom saw him and they became friends, and then after a while they became in love, and then she married him after she went difficult stuff. So she saw that guy, which is his name is Ahmed, and he's awesome, amazing, and he's really, really nice. I count him my real dad, and he really care about us and take care of us, take care of us. So it became a love, and then they married. And then right now, my mom really fighted about our education. So she went through a lot of stuff. I'm actually nervous right now because I didn't know what I should say right here. So she married him, and right now we have 2 restaurants, and we are living an awesome life. We have a house, and we have been a lot through, and now we're living a good life.
So, hi guys, my name is Kelly, and I'm a senior at this school, and I'm 18 years old. So, for me, the hard part was transitioning from the middle child to the oldest child. And right here, I've been participating in a program called the Telling Room, and it's like where you go to write stories about where you came from, real stories that you've been experiencing. And my story was about like my brother, the oldest one in my family. And the title is this one, is The Unbreakable Bond. So I'm just going to read it, and you tell me what you think of. So, suddenly I felt a slap on my cheek. I didn't understand what was going on. I started crying and shouted at him. Wakijuju, or idiot, I shouted to Alex, my next door neighbor in Bujumbura, Burundi. I was around 8, he was twice my age. My neighborhood friend and I had been playing hide and seek. We were kids, so naturally we were making some noise. Our neighbor Alex didn't like that. Soon after we started playing, he came out of his house. His mouth was closed and he looked at me with an angry face. He was wearing a striped Lacoste t-shirt with its tiny alligator image. He had already warned us to be quiet 2 times. He loved to say in French, first time it's okay, second time it's tiring, third time it breaks. This was the 3rd time. He came toward us and started saying that we should move somewhere else. My friends were just murmuring, so I spoke up. When your friends come, you pull loud music and you laugh out loud, and we never complain and tell you to move. And I said, why should we move? He then pulled my arm with force. The other kids tried to tell him to stop. He told me if we started shouting again, he would come back, and that is the time I'll be in big trouble. Then he left. As he walked away, I made fun of his big butt to my friend. He heard me and turned back, and that's when the slap arrived on my cheek. I ran into my house where I found my brother Fortuny Oforo watching the movie Rambo. He was the firstborn and was already around 20 then. He was like a parent by that point. Our parents lived with us, but they were working. He would take me and my 2 little siblings to school or to our friend's house and have the right to punish us if we did something wrong. I went to my room. Foro came in and asked me why I was crying. I knew that insulting people was a bad thing, so I hesitated to share. But after a minute, I told him what had happened. Foro's eyes turned red and he got up in a hurry. He went to the neighbor's house. My friend and I followed 4 feet behind. The neighbor Alex came to the door. Alex did karate, but you couldn't tell. He wasn't fat, but he also wasn't skinny. He had a beard. My brother Foro, on the other hand, was taller and had muscles. He was clean-shaven. Who gave you the right to him a sister? Foro asked Alex, pointing his index finger in Alex's face. You don't have the right to hit someone you didn't give birth to. Whenever you have a problem, you should come to me first. He said, don't hit her. My brother told Alex to apologize to me, and he did. We went into the house. I was proud that I had a brother who could scare people. No one would touch me again, I thought. Since that day, I knew that if I was in a bad situation or if someone was going to hurt me, my brother would always be there to defend me. But also from that day, I stopped seeing him as just my brother. He became a superhero. So, the first part of my story, but like when I came here, I didn't expect that I was going to be the oldest of the family. It was hard because when we got the news that we were going to come here, I went to his room and started to shout and like dancing around because I thought we were going to move together. But then he told me that he wasn't going to come with us, and it was really hard. Because we were so close, and I couldn't see like my future without him being like part of this big shift of my life. So when I came here, it was like really hard because I had to take care of my siblings and my family, and seeing like my parents like having struggle with work or having to struggle a lot to give us money or
going to them, like if you want to go out, but like you also need money. It was hard to go to them because like when you come here, you don't have like all the money that you used to, like you don't have all the privilege you used to have back in your country. So it was really hard. I didn't want my parents like to be like worried about us. So I had to step up, like transitioning from the middle child to go to be like the oldest. So it was a big shift for me because I was like, as my brother knows, they used to tease me and my family as being like the princess, like my daddy's girl. So I never had to worry about money. I never had to worry about like anything in my life. But when I come here, I started like growing up and had to get like responsibilities or like not going out as many times as I used to do like in my country, and being responsible, having to find a job when I was like 17. Like in my country, you don't work until like you finish like your high school or like university sometimes. So here, it was really hard, but like it also taught me a lot of things that I didn't know, and I would say like I'm really thankful, because now I can say like I can leave my mom or dad like leave. I know how to take care of my siblings, I know how to take care of myself, and I wouldn't have to worry. That's the part that really taught me a lot of things, and I'll always be thankful to Mr. Rice, because he told me to be always proud of where you came from, like to know your history, because sometimes it can be used against you. And last year when I was in his class, that taught me a lot, because I started like loving my country, knowing where I come from, like doing some research to be proud of who I am, because I knew it was going to be like so hard to move in a country where like you will see like a lot of white people like like not doing the things that you used to do, or like sometimes you would also experience like racism. But instead of being hard on myself, of being like hating who I am, it taught me to love myself, and that way that people will love me after seeing how I love myself. That told me a lot.
So now he gets, so thank you so much, guys. If you don't mind, we're going to do some questions now. You okay to do questions?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to let Lisa lead the question part, but does anybody have a question to start?
Anyone? Yeah, anything.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for putting yourselves out there. Public speaking is not easy at all. No one enjoys doing it. And the fact that you put yourself out there to share this important, unusual information with everyone is great. And thank you for that. I think we all know that high school and growing up as a teenager is not something that's easy for anyone. Everyone has their challenges, but can you imagine having your windows broken from bombs being around there, having to become like the older sibling to take care of everyone else, having to learn another language just to be able to understand what other people are talking about, and so many things that you guys shared. And I just want to say thank you so much, because you have not had it easy, and you've been able to learn and respect your family and want to honor them. And I just think that that is such an amazing thing. So thank you for putting yourself out there.
Anyone else?
How long does it take for you to learn the language well enough to speak without constantly having to? All right, I'll answer that. So most of us, it's like, it depends on how long, like if you've been here for a long time, or if it depends if you learn back in your country, because some countries, they already teach English. It's a main course that you have to learn. But for me and my sister, when we came here, it took us for about like 3 months to know, but we still had an accent and we still didn't know a lot of the verbs and like everything that we need to use right in the language. But the full a year and a half to 2 years, we learned the full language and we were able to practice more and like to adapt to the language and know like what we can do to improve it. And a lot of teachers helped us with this. And we were like, we were always crying because we didn't know. We'd always get picked from the class, the normal classes, and go to the English classes. And I thought I was like being mistreated. I thought I was not getting enough help. I thought I was different from others. But then I realized that this helped me and my sister a lot. So yeah.
Anyone else want to answer the question? Anyone else?
It took me about like actually 2 years to be like good at it and try to communicate, you know, with everyone else and stuff like that. It was really hard learning English because, you know, like you just like had to, it was really embarrassing sometimes, like not knowing how to communicate with teachers and all that thing, you know, and then when the teacher asks you to repeat your question in front of everyone, that was, you know, I mean, it may not seem that hard, but it actually is. So, you know, I actually cried a lot, like basically every day when I go back home because I was, you know, I was trying so hard, but then, you know, I was seeing results, but not the results I want. So, but eventually got over it, but, you know.
So it took me about 2 years to learn. It was hard to communicate with people, especially when you don't speak English. I used to practice a lot. I used to read books, even though I didn't know the words. I used to watch a lot of cartoons. And yeah, I don't have much to say.
I want to just ask Nara, if you have the chance to go to Iraq, would you do it?
I already had the chance. I went a month ago. Did I stay there? Not for long, like maybe a few months or a year, and that's it.
Anyways, my mom wouldn't let her go back because, I mean, her education's here, so, you know, I wouldn't even let it, you know, happen, so.
Chance to go back to the country when you do that?
Yeah,
Do a short age?
yeah, I would.
It's a play that we born, so that's we will.
Like if you haven't seen, I haven't seen my country in 10 years. Yeah, so when I moved to Syria, I haven't been to my country. I think my grandmother and my grandfather from my mom's side died, and I haven't been to see them. Even my mom haven't had a chance. Yeah, and we're still not citizens yet. So like we're waiting patiently for our citizenship so we can just go and be able to see what's going on.
Yeah, same for me. My place is not that place. Just that education there is expensive. And then I really thank my mother that we came here and had the opportunity to go to school. Although like I would say, like most of the people don't go to school over there. Even the people that have their diploma, that don't have a job there, so it's hard for them, you know, to feed the family or have the opportunity to have a job.
Yes, I would definitely go back. My mom, who was raised in Khartoum, the capital of Egypt, I would love to go back someday. I was born in Canada, so obviously I've never been back to my country. It'd be really good, like, learn more history about my culture. So yes, I would.
Yes, I will definitely go back. because there's some people there that I definitely forgot. I don't even remember my friends, so I just, yeah.
For me, I'll go back because I have family there and cousins and uncle. I really want to meet them one day. I remember like I haven't been able to see them like for 6 years and it's been very hard. And if I have a chance to go back, I'll definitely go back.
I honestly had the chance to go back, but like, just to visit and come back, but I couldn't because my mom went during school and, you know, like springtime, so I would have missed a lot and I'm a junior, so that would affect me a lot. So I couldn't go back, but so I won't be able to go back and visit until my mom goes back again there, and that would probably be in like 2 years. So that's a lot.
If it's for vacation, I'll go back to my country, but then I will not live there, but only permanently. Because I feel like here there's more opportunities than my country, so only for vacation.
For everybody, what was the most surprising thing when you came to the U.S.? What was the thing that was most like? The weather.
There's a lot of good food in here, but also the vegetables and everything. When we went like first time grocery shopping, it was so different. Yeah.
Good or bad?
In the middle. Because our grocery shopping was to be like street shopping. So like you walk in the streets and then you pick up fresh fruits and vegetables. But here it's at the supermarket, it's like huge. So like our first time we got lost. I lost my dad and I lost my mom, so we couldn't find each other. So yeah, but it's good.
I said definitely snow. I remember I used to watch TV. I used to see people driving snow there, and I tried it one time.
Yes,
Also snow and the weather.
I would say actually the language.
Also snow.
For me, I would say when I started coming like visiting this school, I saw 2 people kissing outside. And, like in my country, it's against the culture. You just kiss in your house or outside. You don't kiss. So after seeing those 2 people, I was like looking at my parents. I was like, I hope they didn't see that. They're going to tell me to stay at my house. Like we're going to study like out of my house, not going to school. They already saw like 2 people kissing, so they're gonna think that I'm going to kiss people too. So yeah, I was really surprised because I thought like, that happens in the movies, that people don't actually kiss like in front of other people. So, okay.
Oh, actually, one thing. What was surprising the school, students like they hug each other or like touch each other, or like no, we don't have that in my country at all. And also we have like separates, like girls separate from girls separate from boys. We have like each class, like a class for girls and a class for boys. So it was so surprising actually. And just like she said, like kissing was so surprising for me. I never thought about it, like seeing it in here. So and like America is like way different than other countries.
What were your first impressions of students here, and what did they do or what could they have done to give you a warmer welcome or make your transition easier?
First time I come here, usually we don't shake hands with them. they call something that. They know what that is. People start shaking my hand. I usually shake hands.
Yeah.
And people start doing this, and you know, I feel okay.
I didn't see any negative side from them so far. I really didn't. They're really nice, all of them, and every school I went to and every teacher I had they've been really wonderful and nice, and they also respected my religion in kind of a way, so.
For me, I had a lot of support and everybody was really helping me. And first when I came here, I really made a lot of friends who only speak English. So I really can help myself, practice more, talking to them. And my teacher were very helpful. I remember I had this one teacher back in 6th grade when I came. She was really helpful. She would come sometime on the weekend. She would come on my house and help me practice and everything. Everyone was very supportive, and it was, that was the big difference, I guess.
I would just say the key to make people like to make friends and all that, just be confident. Just smile. Just don't be shy. Don't walk away. Try to be in parts that they are enjoying, so you can enjoy too. Try to think what makes them happy or what makes you happy. Maybe you have similarities, maybe you have differences, but it's okay. Because that's how I adapted to it, and maybe people can also be part of it.
When I first came here, it was November 16th or 17th. First people I met were the junior varsity basketball team. And I made friends with them easily, I'd say, maybe. I made friends with them because they thought the word, how I said the word man was weird, so they would all call me that. And Ari would always say, do Canadians say head top or a joke or something, so they were quite funny, so I made friends with them.
When I first came here, I came to Utah first, and people were very friendly there, and everybody was just very nice. And everybody's nice here too. It's not that hard to make friends. And, yeah.
What were some of the things that you missed from
The food.
Food all the way.
Friends, family,
Food, family.
I miss my family.
Family. I miss nothing.
I would say I miss going out, just not worrying about anything. I miss my family and my friends.
How long did it take you guys to make friends?
How long did it take you guys to make friends?
So when I came here, I didn't speak English. It was hard for me to communicate with people. Then, like I said, I practice, watch cartoons, basketball, play basketball. And yeah, that's how I made friends. Oh yeah. When I came.
For me, I think it takes a year to make friends because, you guys know, I don't know English for the first time I came here, so I always by myself, sit alone and eat by myself. So, I think
Except my bachelor's.
For me, I'll say I joined a German club at my old school, so it will help like make friends, and that's really like helped me meet a lot of people who are still not until today and still have a great connection. And
When I was in Georgia, I didn't make any friends because as I go Georgia, I didn't know how to communicate with them, and I was actually the only Muslim girl that was there. There wasn't any, so. No, you weren't. You're my sister though, so. Anyways, so when I came here though, I was in an ELA class, which is like a class for beginners who's just learning English, and I got adopted. Like I just really liked them, all of them the students that were there, because they were from my country, other countries, and we were all learning English, so we didn't feel like weird, and we just communicated, even though we said stuff like wrong words, we didn't know how to pronounce, but yeah, but through that we learned a lot. And then I had a teacher who like helped us a lot. She like gave us morning classes. We would come early in the morning, and then she would like teach us new words every day. So it was like an extra class, and then we just like knew each other and we helped each other a lot. So it was pretty easy making, being friends with them.
If there's one thing you want to know from American students, what would it be? If you have one question about anything, what would it be?
I don't know. I would say like anything they want to talk about. Like I'm pretty open, so anything you want to talk to me, I'm just like, go ahead. I'm not going to laugh. I'm just like, yeah, talk to me.
The other thing, as I listen to your stories, I also hear stories of many mainstream students or students like yourselves who grew up in Maine. I think that you probably have more similarities than differences, because everybody might have a struggle in their life, just like these young ladies and gentlemen. And you all have to learn how to deal with those things. And I guess I appreciate the stories that these students have shared, and I think that you all each have your own stories as well, and it would be fun to see you share your stories with these students.
I have a question, because most of you have been here for 5 or 6 years. Is there anything as you look back that you wish you would have done? That, like an opportunity that maybe you missed? Or something you didn't do because you were afraid, that maybe would help students that are newer to the country? Just in those 5 years, are there things you wish you would have done?
So to say, before the students answer, can you guys say how long you've been here?
I've been here for 6 years.
4 years.
Canada, so I've been in Canada for 16 years, and I've been in America for 4 months now.
I've been here for 2 years.
I've been here for 6 years.
6.5.
6.5.
A year and a half.
That was 1 year and a half, right? Thinking back on what you've done for the past time, is there anything you could do for the newer students that would help out?
I wish I was more confident, because I gained my competency and I began to be more open when I was in like 6th or 7th grade. When I was in 4th or 5th grade, I was just not, I was really shy. I couldn't speak, I couldn't talk to anybody. I would just use my signals, how to communicate with the teacher. So I wish I was more confident and more outgoing with students and teachers. And I would always get annoyed by stuff, but not anymore. Because like I got used to it and like I know a lot of new stuff now. Yeah, but I wish I was more confident.
I don't remember all of you. Yeah. What was the question, by the way?
I would agree like more confidence would be absolutely necessary. At least in the beginning. So.
I wish I would communicate more with students and interact with teachers and staff and principals.
I don't know answer for this question.
Anyone else have a question?
Are the activities you do for fun different here than from where you came?
Absolutely.
I'll answer. No, like back like in my country, we didn't have class, we didn't have like sport in school. But when you come here in America, you have like culture class, you can play basketball, soccer in the school, but in our school we didn't have that. Like you go to school 7 a.m. in the morning and 12 a.m. you're out. Like you didn't have to do any of those stuff. And here in America, like you can do. You have like a lot of opportunity in the school that you can do, join a club, like play sport. But in my country, we didn't have none of that.
Yeah, I agree with Deborah. We, in my country, we didn't, like girls basically, you know, they weren't allowed to play any sports, but, you know, here we have like a lot of sports and stuff like that, and I'm actually doing track, so that's pretty fun. You know, and it's a really, you know, like doing track first year in my life, that's amazing. And then we have like different timing, we go at 7, we start 7, then end at 12, so, you know, that's a big thing, and then, you know, and like, yeah, all that.
Also, one of the most activities that girls would always do back in my country was Quran sessions, which is it's like the Bible, but it's like Quran, and then we would like learn different ayat, which means different stories about the Quran and how our religion was formed and everything. So we would have sessions every week, but here it was different. Here we have to find a place that Muslim women would teach other Muslim girls about it, and they would try to let them not forget, so the parents would have to always keep in touch with these people. So I, personally, when I came here, I almost forgot everything, but I went to these Quran sessions and like story sessions that they would teach us about the Muslim life and the Muslim society, what is it like for girls and what is it like for men. So yeah.
All the activities that we had in Africa was soccer. Soccer at school. That's it.
Does anyone else have a question?
What would you do on your blog?
What you want to do to
Brain surgeon.
A doctor?
Doctor.
Nurse.
Athletic trainer.
A pilot.
I want to be the computer scientist.
Lawyer. Lawyer.
I want to be an astronaut.
But also, I want to work with kids because I love kids a lot, and I feel like they have a lot of potential that they have in it, and I want to help them to welcome them and never have like be afraid to be who they are.
one thing is that like here, you're like, I don't know, you're like free. You can like mostly like express yourself and your feeling. You can say like anything that you want. But back in my country, it was like, you have to be like very careful what you're saying because you can be really big trouble. You know, like here, you can't just say whatever you want and just, you know, and that's very different.
I'll say going pro.
I mean, I think because, you know, I like it because as Deborah said, yeah, like, you know, you're free to say whatever you want, but, you know, if you're in, you know, I mean, in my country and then you were saying something about the president or something like that, you know, and someone that supports the president so much, you can get killed, basically, and I mean, you're just afraid basically to go out the street. But here, you know, you kind of have the ability to do most of the things you want.
What is something that you don't like about America?
Eating hot dogs?
How they're always in a hurry. Like they keep time as their first priority. In my country, we have one word. It's inshallah. If you come, come. If you don't come, we're good. God made you not. So you are able to it.
I can't think of anything.
You guys are really brave to do this. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for being with us. I heard you say, a lot of you say that you got a lot of support in the school and all that to help you, you know, learn the language, help you sort of get accustomed here. I'm wondering how your parents are doing. What are they doing? Are they struggling with English? How are they doing?
So there is a school for parents where they can go and learn English, but you know, actually most parents don't even have time to do that. So, you know, I mean, my dad, he kind of learned on his own, and he's really good at it. I mean, I think he's even better than me. So, yeah, but like most parents work, they don't have time. So, you know, they just try to communicate with other people to learn the language. Yeah.
You know, for as the parents say, like they have this school for the parent, but I should say most parents don't have time like to go and learn the language because for my family, like my parents had like to go to work and like to support the family. Like for my dad, like he didn't have like he didn't have time to go to any school like because he would always like work. He had to work like 2 jobs to support us and pay for the rent and pay the bills and all this stuff. But he been like we do help them and try to talk to them in English so they can learn from us. Yeah.
Right now, I live with my sister and my parents still in Congo, so they don't have to learn English because they won't speak it there. But my sister, she speaks English. Yeah, she's good with that.
My mom had the opportunity to go to school in Canada, so, and my kids also attend college. So she's always bragging in my face about how she graduated with an honors in high school. So she's pretty fluent in English, but still can't get my name right with my brother's names.
Same with my dad. He would always tell us that he graduated, and then he would show us pictures of him at the graduation, and he would show my mom pictures like with girls or whatever, and he would always brag and tell us that this is gonna be us if we keep working hard, and this is gonna be us if we don't. So yeah.
For my dad, he's pretty much struggling because he is more fluent in in our language, like French or Kirundi, but like for English, like when he's having like somebody is texting him in English, I always have like to be there to translate for him. Or when he's having like talking to someone who speaks better English for him, sometimes I have to be there to translate for him if my mom is not there. So he tries, but he's not there yet. He tries though.
What are some of the languages that you guys speak? What are some of the languages you guys speak? Yeah.
Somali, French.
I speak English, Portuguese, and a little bit of French.
I speak Arabic, English as well, and my dad is actually he's Turkish, he's from Turkey, and he's teaching me Turkish. And I know sign language too. How do you say how are you?
I speak Kirundi, French, and English, and I understand Kiswahili a little bit.
I speak Arabic.
I speak French, Lingala, and Yoruba. It's a language from my country. It's only in the part of my country.
So you guys alluded to this by saying that your parents work multiple jobs. If it's okay, would you share what your parents did for work in your home country and what they're doing now?
For me personally, I didn't know what my parents did at my country. I don't know. I still don't know, but I never asked them, I guess. But here,
My dad was an engineer, and my mom was a teacher, but their degree they didn't accept their degree here, so now my dad has a restaurant and my mom also.
My dad was an electrician and a mechanic, and he had a degree, but when he came here, they also didn't accept it. They told him that he had to go to school for at least 5 years to be able to know about the American stuff. So he opened his own transportation company, and now he runs it.
I don't know my mom's job in the whole country, but she was working as a healthcare aide, and my dad was a mechanic and also worked with the parents, doors and stuff.
My dad was a soldier, but like didn't work in my country. He used to travel a lot to other countries. He was like, I don't know how you call it, but like it's peacekeeping, something like that. And my mom was a businesswoman, but now she's disabled because she was working at Maine Medical, and she fall on the ground. Now she broke her leg. She's waiting for surgery. And my dad is like, he takes care of the people who has like mental problems, things like that.
My mom is a businesswoman and my dad is a doctor.
What restaurant?
Amira.
Repeat the question again.
Sorry, what?
Couldn't hear you.
Amira bread. Amira bread.
Any other everybody a round of applause.